guys, what's up and welcome back to another video. For the scent of the day, don't ask me why I'm burning a summertime candle right now, but this is from Yankee Candle and it's called Sea Coral. And it smells really good, kind of soapy. And I also have this I Leaf Fall candle, my wax melt warmer. If you're new around here, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you will never miss anything interesting. And I also do post every single day on Instagram and on Reddit, so if you like new, daily, updated content, be sure to go follow me over on there. Before we get started, I have two little things to tell you. So you know how I always like to show you my drinks? Well, today I have a Coke Zero. Not my favorite, but it's what I have. And secondly, can you guys believe that I'm actually wearing a dress today? Earlier today, we had to go take family pictures, so I had to wear a navy dress and boots, and I had to get all fancied up. So this is a Sunday video, and on Sundays, what we do is we do an eyeshadow tutorial, and then we talk a little bit about the palette. So this week's palette's from McGrath Labs, and this is the original Mothership 1 Subliminal palette. And here's what that color story looks like if you're interested. And if you are curious, it is exactly what I'm wearing on my eyes right now. I wore this palette for the pictures today. And I'll tell you more about this in the actual review segment of this video. But if I were to ever wear this again, these are the kind of looks that I would do with it. Very simple and light. And I definitely wouldn't try to do anything extravagant with this palette anymore. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and take off my eyeshadow and then I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back and that was an absolute wreck. As I was taking off my eyeshadow look, I took off half of my foundation too, so I had to reapply that and here I am. Okay guys, so for today's look, what we're gonna do is an oval blend out cut crease. And you guys should know by now that this is one of my favorite looks to do, but I did run into some problems creating it with this palette, so I'll get into that a little bit later and let's just pray that it comes out right today. So before I get started on any eye look, I always like to go in with a tight liner and an eye primer. So let's go ahead and do that first. And for my tight line, I'm taking the L'Oreal Infallible Longwear Eyeliner. And this one's just in black. And I don't know why I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, because this pencil is simply amazing. And now for eye primer, I'm going in with this one from M2U NYC. And I just discovered this yesterday and it is so good. Let me show you guys this little thing that I got, and it is so cool. So I got this bag on Amazon and you can keep all your brushes in it and then it zips over the top and it keeps all the dust and cat hair and stuff out of your brushes so they're always clean. And then it folds all the way down so you can see what brushes you need and get the exact one when you need it. And I have just been loving this ever since I got it. Oh, and it has a super rigid bottom, so it stands up perfectly straight every time you set it down. Okay, for our first step, we're gonna take a small flimsy detail brush, kind of like this. And whenever I use these, I have these linked below. If you want a set of these, they're really, really cheap on eBay, and they definitely come in handy when I'm trying to create an eye look, and I just love them ever since I got them. The first shade I'm gonna go into is Depth, and I'm gonna find the center of my eye, and start creating a diagonal line from the center of my eye going up into an oval shape. And I'm just sketching this lightly in case I make a mistake. And once I get to my brow arch, I'm gonna kind of swing it around here and start making my oval. And I'm gonna continue bringing it around till I get to the corner of my eye. And then once I reach the corner, I'm just going to match it to the corner of my eye. Now when I get to this point, I really want to assess it and make sure that it looks actually round. And if it doesn't, then I want to go in and fix where it doesn't. Once you get your shape on there, then you want to go ahead and fill it in. Now, after you get your shapes drawn on there, it's time to blend them out. So I found my best luck was with a very long domed blending brush, kind of like this. And I'm just gonna go in here and work little circles around the edges and try to get this as blended out as I can. And I'm blending all the way to the outer corner of my eye. So this entire shape that we just made needs to be blended out. Now, once you're satisfied with that blend, we're going to go in with our second shade, which is called Ultimate Taupe. And I'm just using that same brush that I went in with first. I'm getting some eyeshadow on it, tapping off my brush. And then I'm going to go on this harsh line. And I'm just going to outline this harsh line. Now again, once you're done putting that taupe shade on there, we're going to go in with our big long blending brush again and give that a final decent blend until you're satisfied with it. The next brush I'm going in with is an angled blending brush, and I'm going into a shade called Extreme Black, and I'm just getting a little bit of that on the brush. So I'm just coating the bristles like this, just lightly, and I tapped off my brush. And I'm just gonna stamp this in the outer portion of this look. Just very lightly, just to deepen up the outer corner for some depth. And then once you're done putting the black on, go ahead and blend that in just a little bit so it looks cohesive. Now we're done with the base and it's time to cut the crease. So my favorite thing to use to cut the crease is the ABH eye primer. I don't like this as an eye primer, but I love it as a cut crease base. And for this duty, I'm just taking a flat concealer brush and I'm dipping into the eye primer. And I'm gonna look straight ahead and put a dot right in the center of my eye. Where the cut crease needs to reach. So as you can see, that's the height of my cut crease. So I'm gonna go ahead and follow that line. And for this look today, I thought it was kind of fun to bring the cut crease down a bit past my inner corner. And once I get my whole cut crease on there, I'm just gonna go ahead and fill it in. Once you get your cut creases on there, now I go in with my favorite detail brush of all time from Black Opal. And I'm going into a shade called VR Violet. And I'm gonna put this on the exterior half of the cut crease. Now these two shades that we're using for the cut crease right here are kind of like topper shades, so you really need to build them up. But you can also use them wet if you want to for some more intensity. Now before we move on to the interior shade, I'm gonna go ahead and blend the outer with outer corner. So for this, I like to take a dense buffing brush and I'm going into the shade called Substance, and then I'm gonna find the area where this outer shade meets the outer corner and just gently stamp this shade where the cut crease ends. So it kind of blends that area in together with the outer corner. Now again, with that same detail brush, I'm going into the shade Astral White. And this one, I'm gonna pack on the interior part of my cut crease. And make sure you pack it on this little extra line that we did here in the inner corner. And once you get to the center, make sure you do a few extra swipes across to the other color so it does a nice blend for you. The next thing to do is start on our lower lash line, but before we get started on that, we gotta do our waterline. And the color that I chose to go with this look is a bright blue. So I'm just gonna stick this on my waterline. The next thing to do is grab a small angled brush, and I like to use one that's a little thicker in nature for this activity. We're gonna go into a shade called Blitz Blue. And if you look at your eye and draw an imaginary line down the center, take this to your outer half. Now with that same brush, go into the shade called Pale Gold 002 and put that on the inner portion of the lower lash line. And once you get to that blue part, just drag it over a little bit so it blends with the blue. Now grab your favorite inner corner highlight brush and go back into the Pale Gold 002 shade and put that in your inner corner. Just kind of dot it in there so it connects to the lower lash line and that other shade that we put. And that's the whole eye look. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some mascara and I will be right back. Alright guys, so here's the finished eye look with just mascara. And like I always say, if you want to see it with lashes, I will link below the Saturday pictorial so you can see how it looks in full-blown glam. So if you want to continue hanging out with me a little bit, I'm going to get into part 2 in just a second. Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of this video, the review portion. Like I mentioned earlier, today we're talking about the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership 1 Subliminal palette. And here's what the packaging looks like. It's just her standard casing. And on the back, it looks like that. And this is very sturdy and it has a very nice luxurious weight to it. And when you open it up, there's a very large beveled mirror inside. And when you look at the actual color story, you're gonna find 10 different eyeshadows. And each one weighs 1.33 grams each. So you're gonna get an above average amount of eyeshadow per pan. Like all Pat McGrath palettes, there are so many different formulas in here. In this particular palette, there are 4 different formulas. There are 3 matte shades, 3 satin shimmer shades, 2 metallic shades, and then 2 hybrid holographic Blitz Astral shades. And a lot of people refer to those as the special shades. So let's talk about the matte shadows first. I was really disappointed when I used this matte formula. I found that it was very difficult to blend to the point where I had to wipe my eye look off twice before I was satisfied with any type of blend from it. I found it was very difficult to layer up well. And even today when I was creating this look, it was leaving little harsh lines that I just couldn't blend out. I mentioned this in my written review and I said that I've used palettes that cost $1/4 of this price and it blows it out of the water when it comes to formulation and functionality. And I still stand behind that, even using this again today. The 3 satin shimmers in here are probably what other companies would refer to as normal metallics. So they do swatch and apply kind of like a metallic shadow, but they aren't as shiny as her other metallics. So she just refers to those as satin shimmers, and I had no problem with that formula. It worked well, and they each do have a base pigment, so you can use them in a different plethora of ways. The 2 metallics in this palette, which are the Pale Gold and the Blitz Blue that we use, those are my 2 favorite shadows in this palette. The metallics are unparalleled. They are so absolutely gorgeous and I just love them. Lastly, the 2 very special shades right here on the end right here are called Blitz Astral shades. And both of those shades don't really have a base pigment, so they're kind of like toppers. But they're very special in the way that they shift. They just catch light in very dramatic ways and they do look beautiful when you apply them. So let's talk a little bit of information about this palette, okay? So this one right here is the first ever Mothership palette in the series of Mothership palettes. So I think there's currently 9 out right now, and this is the first one that she's ever made. Pat McGrath has a theory called structured shaping essentials. Pat McGrath herself has been doing backstage makeup artistry for years, and she's always relied on that theory to create outstanding, beautiful looks, and that's what she based this palette on, all the shades that she used for her looks. Something interesting about this is that it was created to be a multifunctional face and eye palette, so a lot of these shades can be used on your face as well to do different kinds of contour and highlighting. And something else really neat about this is that each color is super saturated, so it works great on any skin tone. This palette is cruelty-free, it is not vegan, and it is made with clean ingredients. And now quickly, I'm gonna put up a picture of some swatches that I did of this palette so you can see how everything looks swatched out. Okay, now we're gonna get into my favorite part of the review, which is the cost. So if you went out today and bought the palette the way it is today, it would cost you $125. Breaking that down a little bit, that comes to $12.50 per shade. Breaking that down even further, it comes to $9.38 per gram. So as you can see, this is a very expensive palette. So now we're gonna get into my recommendation, guys. Personally, I had a lot of trouble with this palette and I struggled immensely. But that's not saying the shades aren't beautiful. But I also don't want to sit here and justify a $125 purchase for 3 special shades that I enjoy. When I use this palette, I did get kick up in the pan and I did get slight fallout on my face. So I would definitely recommend doing your eyes before your base when you use this. And if this palette has been on your wish list and you were considering purchasing it, I honestly don't think I would recommend it. Just because I think it would be silly if you bought this entire thing for 3 beautiful shades. So let me know down in the comments below if you have this palette or you're interested in getting it. And also, let's have the conversation about this eye look. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to hear your thoughts. So guys, that's all I have for this video today, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was very helpful. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you didn't like this video, hit the thumbs down button. And until next time,